our dear viewers, and welcome to our second segment in our show today. In our show today, we are going to shed light about the celebrations marking the 60th anniversary of the establishment of the Organization of the African Union, and that is the Africa Day, which is coinciding to be celebrated on the 25th of May from every year. To shed more light on that, we are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Ambassador Souad Shalaby, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good morning, Ambassador Shalaby.
Good morning.
Ambassador Shalaby, every year on the 25th of May, it's marking the global celebration of Africa Day. Do you agree that this day is a reminder of the joint African values and the importance of proceeding with the march of peace, prosperity and integration in Africa?
Yes, of course, this is the day when the Organization of African Union, it was called OAU before, yes. In 60 years ago, it was founded, and Egypt was one of the founding members of this organization, and also other countries, of course, signed in and became members of this new organization in 1964. And then Egypt hosted the first summit in Cairo in July 1964 after the founding of Organization of African Union. Later, it was in 2000, it was decided that there are many political and economic and global developments that that all the leaders of the Organization of African Union, the member states, including Egypt, in Sirte, Libya, they decided to to change the OAU into an African Union, and this is how the third declaration called for establishing the African Union.
Yes. Ambassador Shalaby, how do you see Egypt's vital role in the African Union?
Egypt has been, since 6 years ago, very active and in the 5 organs of the African Union, and it has played a very, very important role in the African Union, whether it is whether before it was African Union or after. So, of course, peace and security and stability in Africa was the main issue that Egypt played a bigger role and stressed on the importance of peace and stability in Africa, facing all the political crisis that has been facing. Of course, Egypt has developed its role, whether it is peace and security or the NEPAD, its role in the NEPAD, its role in the COMESA, its role in the Pan-African Parliament, the Economic and Social Cultural Council. So it has played a very important role in all these organs. And of course, it has also hosted many meetings, many summits in Sharm el-Sheikh or in Cairo. And of course, it played a bigger role when it was hosting these conferences.
Yes. Ambassador, how do you view the Egyptian role in enhancing development efforts in Africa and preserving the security and stability throughout the different states of the continent?
As you know, Egypt hosts the Aswan Forum every year, and this year it will host it on the 2nd and 3rd of July. It's mainly for Aswan Forum for Sustainable Swan Forum is mainly for sustainable peace and development,
Indeed.
and it has focused mainly on the 20th anniversary of the African Union. So the forum will outline the priorities and actions that Egypt and Africa are interconnecting, strengthening the implementation of peace and security and development nexus. So
yes.
In that regard, as you know, that the African Union has decided that this year it claimed to be the year for education. So Aswan Forum will also focus on this, and it will amplify the Africa's voices in the juncture between the multilateralism and the international cooperation in the field of development and in the field of education.
Ambassador, do you believe that the level of intra-African cooperation is increasing and it's fine now, or we need more to reach the required level of cooperation among the different African states? And what are still the obstacles that hindering the required level of cooperation?
Of course, it's not enough. We have to, because there are a lot of global challenges that the African countries have to face. And in order to, we have to have the African Union face all these problems and challenges. So there has to be a lot of focus on the strategy that we are doing together. Like, for instance, the 2064 target for development agenda. And if we follow this development agenda, for instance, 2030, we have a strategy for 2030, we have a strategy for 2050. So each year we have to develop the climate, the peace and security, to have education for peace in line with African Union's theme. And it has, it also have to think of all the problems that are facing the Horn of Africa, the Red Sea, the Sahel region, all the African countries who are facing trouble in the West African region. Also, we have to together bring the peace and stability to all these countries. So the African Union is playing a very, very important role, whether it is in the development or in the peace and security and sustainable peace, not only peace. So the regions are the economic communities in the regions are important. The financial institutions and the civil society. Women and youth, that is important. Even in the chairperson address to the in the Africa Day, he has stressed on the role of youth in Africa, because 60% of youth of population in Africa are youth.
Yes.
So there has to be work for them. There has to be education for the youth and the women.
Indeed. Ambassador Shalaby, do you believe that the African continent thrives on its terms and stands as a dynamic force in the global arena at the moment?
Yes, of course. You have seen during COVID how much Africa has faced this challenge. You have seen how much the implications and devastating humanitarian consequences of the Russia-Ukraine war and the war in Gaza is affecting. So the African continent is facing all the challenges that are happening globally, and trying to to face the violence, the instability, the terrorism, and also, of course, the drought and
Yes.
the problems that are facing Sudan, for instance. The war in Sudan is affecting so much the region, and also the coup d'etats that are happening in the west of Africa, and
Yes.
and the problems that are facing the Horn of Africa. So the climate change, the impact of the food insecurity, the displacement of refugees all over the countries that have wars. So the African Union has to face all these problems and deal with them.
Indeed.
So this is like what I said, that the Aswan Forum is going to be a platform that will discuss all these problems that are envisioning the global governance for peace and development, and this dialogue will continue to anticipate the summit for the future.
Of course. Ambassador Souad Shalaby, former Assistant Foreign Minister, thank you so much for your precious input and for being with us today. Our dear viewers, so that we come to the end of this edition of the Breakfast Show. Till tomorrow is another program. It's Shalaby signing off and wishing all our dear viewers a very good day. Many thanks for watching.